Hello YouTube. I am back here with another video, but this time I have a Bose F1 subwoofer that we're going to open up. So I don't know if some of you have seen previously, I opened up one of the Bose B2 bass modules, and at the time I had a couple L1 Model 2s, I had 5 B2 bass modules, we have a couple compacts, an L1 Model 1S, and I had two 812 tops. Well, since the last video, I decided to buy one of the F1 subwoofers. I know I mentioned I compared them at the store, and you know, I really wanted to give the F1 subwoofer a chance because of the power to weight ratio. It's got good power. It only weighs like 57 pounds, so it's very manageable. I know if you put 2 or 3 of these, you can definitely rival a lot of 18-inch subwoofers like the KW181, which I am familiar with because I had that system, the KW181 with the K12s. I had that system prior to moving to an all Bose setup. So I'm very familiar with that setup. And even though I have so many B2 bass modules, you know, I always still kind of miss the thump of an 18. And these are pretty close to the 18s. They're definitely tuned a lot lower than the B2. I mentioned in my past video, I prefer the punchier sound of the B2. And you know what? It really all is depending on your taste and the kind of music that you want to play. Me, I'm a mobile DJ, so I have to play a variety of different music. But I find that for a lot of the hip-hop crowd, the EDM crowd, the B2s definitely have their limits where the F1 actually pushes through on the lower frequencies. So I was kind of curious to see what's inside of these things. I want to show everyone too. And of course, if you look through my channel, you could see, if you're curious to also see what's inside the B2s, you know, please feel free to check that video out as well. So without further ado, got to open up the grill here. And a couple things just wanted to note. Of course, they are 10-inch woofers just like the B2s. They do have a foam surround also like the B2s, but the first thing I noticed is the foam is a lot softer. It's a lot softer and the roll is a lot larger. So with that, these are definitely able to move a lot more air than the B2s, or than the 10-inch woofers in the B2s. The only downside I always say with foam is that over time, the foam softens, it can degrade and rot. Though I know that they've had advances with treatments to put in the foam to prevent that. Well, to prevent that to happen a lot sooner, so they last longer than, you know, the foam designs of like the 90s and stuff. But regardless, it is foam. So, you know, if you're doing outdoor events with a lot of, you know, like humidity and stuff like that, if you're doing that constantly, these might not be the best systems for you because the foam can degrade for sure. But yeah, I think that, I'll be honest, I think this is kind of a cost savings thing. I prefer if they used rubber. But anyways, regardless, it's a very thick roll, allows the woofer to move a lot, so it has a lot of exertion, allows it to move a lot of air. Without further ado, of course, let's get to the inside. So here it is. I think it is just another proprietary woofer just made for the F1 subwoofer. On the other side here, you will see there's a little Bose part number right there. A 4-ohm speaker. Looks like it does have, I think, I would say about a 2 to 2.5 inch voice coil. Now this is constructed, I think it's actually more 2.5, but it's constructed a little bit differently than the B2 woofer. If you notice that there's a lot of vents around here, so you can actually see the voice coil inside these vents for a lot of cooling. It does use a similar double stacked magnet design as the B2 woofer. The magnet side when I first started DJing in the 90s, you know, I bought my first set of speakers were Bose 802 Series 2s. And of course, I still have those as well. And I also tinkered around with the EV-SX200 and SB120 systems in the mid to late 90s. So I've been a mobile DJ ever since, so a lot of my gear is toward the mobile DJ stuff. So I don't use any of the professional side stuff, but if there's any questions regarding any of that, like the MI type of gear and comparisons and stuff like that, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'd be more than happy to help and answer those questions to the best of my knowledge. But it is 4th of July. Have a great 4th. And that's the Bose F1 subwoofer.